Okay, in this class, let us start with the next type of integration, that is the definite integration or definite integrals. Okay, now what this definite integral means is we'll take a function. Okay, take a function f of x. Okay, now we will integrate it. Okay, so we are integrating the function with respect to x. Okay, we are integrating the function with respect to x. Fine, so you can say f of x dx means integrate the function f of x with respect to x. Okay, now we'll integrate the function. Okay, so this refers to integrate the function between two limits. Okay, two limits, that is, we'll call them as the upper limit and the lower limit. Okay, upper limit and the lower limit. Okay, so how do we denote it? Okay, so how do we denote this definite integrals? Means we'll take f of x dx. See, this is just the normal indefinite integral. Okay, so indefinite integrals means you will be given with a differentiation of a function. For example, differentiation of sin x. Okay, we know that it is cos x. Now cos x will be given to you and they'll ask you to obtain sin x. So what will you do when you differentiate? Okay, so when you differentiate sin x, you are getting cos x. Now when you integrate, okay, so when you are performing integration on cos x, you will get back sin x. Okay, so this was without whatever we did till the last class. You can consider it as indefinite integrals. Now coming to definite integrals, what we'll do is, see, we are integrating the function between limits, that is between two limits we have. So one of them is called as the upper limit and the other one is lower limit. Okay, now we'll write it like this, say a and b. See, just below this it looks like a long S, right, capital S, right, the integration symbol. Now below that we'll write a and above that we'll write b. Okay, so a, it stands for lower limit. Okay, and b stands for upper limit. Okay, b stands for upper limit. Okay, right, now say integration of f of x is equal to g of x. Okay, it is equal to g of x, right? Now when you use this limits, right, so this is plain old indefinite integration. Okay, now when you use this limits, when the same f of x, here I forgot to write dx, f of x dx you write. Now the same function, if you integrate between the limits, now what are these limits, why we have to take them, what are its uses, everything you will come to know, okay, in just a bit, right? So integration of f of x with respect to x between the limits a and b. Okay, when I say between the limits a and b means lower limit is a, upper limit is b. Okay, so say the result is g of x. Okay, so you can say this is like f of x is x, then g of x would be x square by 2, is it not? When you integrate x with respect to dx, you will get x square by 2. Okay, so concept of integration, we will avoid it here. Okay, fine. So yeah, here integration of f of x with respect to dx, you are getting g of x. Okay, now what we will do here is definite integrals. Okay, so when you consider these limits and everything here, we will consider the g of x and we'll write it something like this, a to b. Okay, now what it actually means is you have to find out g of b minus g of a. So this will be the end result of definite integration. Okay, now we will do a good number of examples so that you will understand about this. Okay, right, now this definite integrals, okay, definite integration, right, so it has a lot of applications. Okay, so which you will be seeing in physics also, many chapters, and in many numericals we will use this. Fine. Okay, now let us see how it helps. Now before going to that, let us try to understand the geometrical interpretation of this definite integrals. Okay, you will get a clear idea on what we are doing. Okay, what is its use and everything. Okay, Fine. Now say horizontal axis is x. Now the vertical axis we have taken f of x. Okay. Now this is some function f of x. Okay. So that is that function. Graph of the function. Fine. Now what this definite integral means is, okay, what it actually means is, see, we will say between the limits x is equal to a and x is equal to b. See, these are basically the values of x. Okay, you are integrating with respect to x, right? This, when you write dx, it tells you that integrating with respect to x. Okay, so here the limits, right, whatever we wrote here, a and b. Okay, so just make a small change. You can say the limit, the lower limit is x is equal to a and the upper limit is x is equal to b. Okay, so this a and b are given, they are a specific values for x itself, nothing much. Fine. Now say this is actually a point which tells you that it is a. Now this is a point which is b. Okay, now let us draw that. Let us drop a perpendicular. Okay, fine. So how do we define this point here? Basically we'll write it as x comma y, right? So you can write a comma f of a, correct? So y is f of x, right? Y is f of x, that is y. Now this point you can actually write it as b comma f of b. Okay, b comma f of b, right? Now when I say integration of f of x, okay, with respect to x, okay, integration of f of x with respect to x between the limits a and b, okay, this will give you, okay, this will give you the area under the curve, okay, area under the curve between a and b. Now this is important, area under the curve between a and b. Okay, so that is this particular area. Okay, so this particular area. Fine. Now you will come to know what is its significance and everything. So I would like to give you a clue. If you have your 8th or 9th standard textbook, if you remember, you had this motion in a motion of a particle or something related to motion. You had studied these equations. V is equal to u plus at, then v square, the next equation was this, s is equal to ut plus half at square. Okay, now look for the derivation. How did you derive this? Okay, how did you derive this equation? Okay, just look for that. Just look for the idea. Okay, the idea behind derivation of this equation. You will get to know what we are doing here. Okay, so this has close relation. When we go to the next classes, okay, so when we cover this topic completely and when we do problems, right, numerical problems, you'll understand that. Fine. So this is the interpretation of your definite integral, okay, geometrical interpretation. Now how this area is useful? So they will become useful for in many physical scenarios. Okay, they'll be actually useful in many physical scenarios, and it will help us in identifying few quantities, for solving few quantities. Okay, so what are those quantities, how it helps us and everything, we will see once we do numericals. Okay, now let us try to understand this concept behind how this will actually represent area. Okay, so that is the question for many of you right now. So how this will actually, how to understand that LHS. See, I just told you that, okay, definite integral between the limits, it will give you the area under the curve. Okay, now how to understand that? Let us try to understand it in a better way. Okay, so what we yes, I have this function here. Now let us say I want to integrate the function between the 2 points a and b, the two limits a and b. Okay, so how do we write integration of f of x with respect to x between the limits a and b? Okay, now I'm trying to explain how this integration can it actually means the area. Right, now to understand that, Let us say this piece of area has been given to you. Okay, this piece of area has been given to you. Now just look at this area here. Okay, what I mean is just try to look at this particular area. Okay, so this one, whatever is highlighted by the green contour, okay, green perimeter. Okay, I want you to find out this area alone. Okay, so what are the different methods we have? Suppose, see here, finding out this area will be slightly difficult. Okay, now if you had the area something like this, okay, so all the four sides bounded by straight lines. See, all the four sides are actually straight lines. Then what is the shape here you are getting? The shape you are getting is a trapezoid, right? Trapezium, it looks like a trapezium. So even you can divide it as a triangle and a rectangle, and you could have obtained the area, fine. But here this is not the case, right? Now we have these three to be straight lines. Okay, so all these three are straight lines here, fine. But this one, it looks like a curve. Okay, it looks like a curve, fine. Now here we have to make use of some approximation. So how it will help us in solving, fine. So let us see them one by one. Okay, now to find out the area under the curve, okay, to find out the area under the curve, so what we are going to do is okay, fine. So that is this area, whatever I have highlighted here. Okay, so this area, how we can find out means we will divide. Okay, we will divide this area. Okay, this area into strips, we'll say. Okay, we'll divide this area into small strips, right? So that is the idea behind this. Okay, now say this is strip number 1. Okay, and this will be strip number 2, equally spaced strips. Okay, the width of the strip must be equal, 3. Now you have strip number 4, fine. Now you have strip number 5, like this. Okay, now you have strip number 6 this way. Okay, 7. Finally let me write 8 also, right? Finally I got 8, fine. Now if I obtain the area of all these strips, okay, if I obtain the area of all these strips, you can say area of strip 1, okay, strip 1 plus area of strip 2, area of strip 2 plus area of strip 3. Okay, now all of them, if you keep on adding up to how many strips we have here in this particular example, I have taken 8. Okay, all the 8 strips, right? So area of strip 8 from 1 to 8. Okay, so if you add all of them, okay, if you add all of them, you will get the area enclosed. Okay, so you can say area under the curve. Okay, area under the curve between the points. The points here actually means limits. Okay, between the limits A and B. Do you agree? Actually no, the reason is, see here we are missing out few areas, right? See this area we are missing it out. Okay, so if the actual area, now try to understand, if the actual area is some say for example 8 centimeter square. Okay, now the area whatever we calculate, area of strip 1 plus area of strip 2 up to area of strip 8, it will definitely be less than 8 centimeter square, right? Now what is the reason? We are missing out this much area. See, this area is lost, this much area is lost, this much area is lost, like that. Okay, so this much area we are actually losing it, right? Now coming to the thickness, right, coming to the width of the strip, we will actually consider it to be delta x. Okay, we will consider the strip, the width of the strip to be delta x. Each and every strip from strip number 1 to strip number 8, all of them have the equal thickness or equal width, you can say, delta x, which looks like the breadth of the rectangle, correct? So all of them are having delta x, let us say. Now coming to this, see this one looks, this strip 1, it looks like a rectangle. It's just that length is long, breadth is less, breadth is delta x, right? Now here what mistake I did was, see here if this is say f of a, okay, now do you think this will also be f of a? Obviously this will also be f of a, right? But don't you think the as I keep going from left to right, that is when I go from point A to B, right, I'm going this way, right? When I go that way, when I'm going from A towards B, this value has to increase, right? Okay, here I have just considered method. This is one approach, one possible approach to find out the area under the curve. Okay, so I can consider delta x, but here what will how can I find out the area of the strip? Means I can say yeah, so I'll give you an idea on this. Area of strip 1, okay, area of strip 1, right? Now what is this length actually? So it's just like you have a point, right? So say 2 comma 3, okay, otherwise 2 comma 3. So this is x and y, correct? Now this length, right? So this length is actually 2 and this length is actually 3. Okay, now we are going to do the same thing here. Now area of strip 1, okay, by looking at the diagram you can say it is, now what is this value here? That is the blue line, right? The length of the blue line, correct? So this is also the same, and because it looks like a rectangle, right? So that is why I've taken like this. Okay, fine. So it is actually f of a. This much length is actually f of a, correct? This is actually f of a, right? Now area of strip 1 you can write it as f of a, that because it gives me the length multiplied by delta x. Okay, now area of strip 2, okay, area of strip 2, it can be given as, see here I'll consider one more point. You can call it as like f of something like b I have taken already, right? Some point, okay, so call it as c. Okay, this point is c. Okay, this point is c. Okay, now this would be f of c. Okay, this would be f of c, like that. Okay, right. Now area of strip 2 you can just give it by considering the length of the strip multiplied by the breadth of the strip. Strip here it simply means rectangle. Okay, now if you keep adding all of them, okay, if you keep adding all of them, we'll get it like f of f of x delta x, okay, f of x delta x. Okay, what assumption we are making here is that, see here, assume that f of x does not change, f of x does not change over the, you can say if x, if the change in x is delta x. Okay, you can write like that. If the change in x is delta x, what it means is, see, let us take strip number 4 for example. Okay, otherwise strip number 3. Okay, see here, if you take a look at strip number 3, right, now when x value changes from this point to this point, okay, now let me take 2 more points here. See, this is point P and point Q. Okay, now what is delta x here? Delta x you can say q minus p, is it not? Delta x is simply q minus p, you can say. So q has a fixed value which I have not taken here, that is all. Okay, so when x changes from p to q, now observe, focus only on strip 3 here. When x changes from p to q, we will assume that the value, right, the value of f of c, okay, that is the function, right, the function value will not change. But actually what you are seeing here is, see, this is strip number 3, when this is x is equal to p, now this is x is equal to q. Okay, let me choose some other color. I think this is okay. So if when x changes from p to q, what is the change in f of x? So this is your change in f of x, delta f of x. That is, I am focusing only on strip 3 right now. But we are making this assumption because, as you can see from the uh, method how we are trying to find out the area means we are dividing that area, we are considering that area is divided into small rectangular strips. But however, when you do this procedure, when you consider this approach, you are losing some area. As I told you, if the actual area is 8 centimeters square, the area what we calculate by adding this area of the strips, that will actually be less than 8 centimeters square. Okay, now here comes the trick what we are going to see now. Fine, see, we assume that f of x does not change if the change in x is delta x. Okay, if x, you can say if x changes by if, or you can say assume that f of x does not change for a change of, if the change in x is delta x. I think I wrote the same thing. Okay, if this is okay with you, then not a problem. The change in x is delta x. Okay, right. Fine. Now, yeah, here comes the next part. Okay, now what we can do is, if you want to approach, okay, so we know the true area already, the actual area is 8 centimeters square. Okay, now if you want to get closer and closer to this 8 centimeter, we have to make this delta x smaller. Okay, now you know, you know something which sounds familiar. Delta x smaller means what do we do? This delta x, we will make it approach 0. Okay, so then we'll call it as dx. Okay, now come back here. Now the same area, whatever you have here, you could have got the area as, okay, so that is area under the curve. Okay, area under the curve between a and b. Okay, between a and b, you can write it as f of x delta x. Okay, so say this is with respect to strip 1. Okay, now f of x strip 1. Okay, f of x delta x of strip 2. Okay, now we are adding up to strip 9. Okay, sorry, up to strip 8, right? Now here we can basically use summation. Okay, so we can basically use summation. We can just say area under the curve between the limits a and b, it can be given by f of x delta x, we have to write. Okay, f of x delta x. See, I am summing it up. Okay, summing it up instead of writing f of x delta x strip 1, f of x delta x strip 2, right? It is just like you are multiplying f of x and delta x, that will give you the area. Okay, so between strip 1 to strip 8, between strip 1 to strip 8. Strip 1, it acts as the lower limit. Now strip strip 8 acts as the upper limit. Okay, so this is how area can be given. Okay, area, we can write an expression for the area for the approach whatever we did here, that is dividing the area into rectangular strips. Okay, so you have, I hope it is clear for you. Fine, but the problem is we are not getting the complete area. Now the next step, the correction what we are going to make is, we are going to make this delta x tend to 0. Okay, when you make that delta x tend to 0, I'll try to show you a small animation. Okay, so you'll get to understand. Now this strip number 1, in place of strip number 1, okay, say you are putting 2 strips. Okay, so instead of 8 strips, we'll consider 16 strips now. Okay, we'll consider 16 strips. Of course, I cannot draw them here, but I would like to show you the difference. Okay, so when you make 16 strips, see, this is strip 1, let us say. Now this will be strip 2. Okay, see here you will be losing lesser area. Okay, see, earlier this whole area, it was covered by only 1 strip. Now I am considering this as strip 1. Now this I am considering it as strip 2, right? Now how much area did I lose previously? Okay, now previously this was how your strip 1 looked. Okay, fine, I lost this much of area. Okay, this much of area I had lost. Okay, this was lost. It was not considered in the calculation. Now how much area am I losing? If you consider, this is the area, this much area is how much we are losing. See, we have two strips right now. Okay, so we have two strips. Okay, so we have two strips. So here you have this much area is lost. Okay, so you can focus here. This much area is lost and this much area is lost. Now don't you think when you considered a strip that is two strips instead of this one strip, you lost a lesser area, correct? So when you keep making that strip width lesser and lesser, so you will finally approach dx. Okay, delta x tends to 0, so that is what we call it as dx, right? Now when you make the strip width so less, okay, so that it is almost equal to 0, but it is strictly not equal to 0, so that is what this dx means actually, is it not? Dx, right? So that is what it means, right? Then you will see that you will cover the complete area. I'll just post an animation so that you will understand. Okay, so I hope you got this idea. Then when you make this, okay, now the same summation whatever we did now, see here I had considered 8 strips. Okay, so you can write in your notes the whatever you have understood, fine, right? So please make running notes. All right, now if delta x tends to 0, okay, if delta x tends to 0, that is dx, okay, if the width of the strip becomes dx, okay, becomes dx, comma the summation, right? So the summation, it will turn out to be an integration, that is on. See, we wrote f of x dx, okay, so between the limits a and b, that is strip 1 to strip 2 I had taken, so between a and b, okay. Now if delta x tends to 0, right, so you can say this is delta x. Now if delta x tends to 0, then the summation can be written as an integration, that is on. Okay, if delta x tends to 0, now area, it will be given as integration of f of x dx, okay, f of x dx between the limits a to b, a and b. Okay, fine. Now here let us try to understand this expression again. So say this is x and y. Okay, now this is a function of x. Okay, now what we'll do is we will take a small strip whose width is dx. Yeah, here comes the important part. Okay, see, while writing on this board, I can show dx is very large, but practically in your imagination you must consider that it is very small. Okay, it is very small, but its its value is close to 0, but it is not 0. Now, what we will assume here is, okay, now over the distance, or you can say like this. See, you can say the whole idea about this integration and the area under the curve, I will tell you in a very simple way, so you can remember. So you can say this is x. Now this point is x plus dx. Okay, delta x is gone now. Okay, delta x tends to 0 and delta x tends to 0 is what we call it as dx. Okay, now we can say if x changes from, okay, if x changes from x to x plus dx, okay, changes from x to x plus dx, we assume that, okay, we assume that the change in f of x, is negligible. Okay, the change in f of x is negligible. Okay, so therefore see, when x, here you have yeah, this point you can consider it as f of x. Okay, now this point is actually f of x plus dx. Okay, f of x plus dx, right? Yeah, so the change in f of x is negligible. So if I ask you what is the change, means what we will say, f of x plus dx minus f of x. Okay, now this change is negligible, means you will approximately equate it to 0. Okay, you will approximately equate it to 0. So you can say f of x, right, it is approximately almost 99.999999%, okay, equal. Okay, it is not completely equal, it is not 100%, it is f of x is equal to 99.99%, like that. So just to give you a numerical feeling. Okay, so f of x is approximately equal to x plus dx. Okay, the changes are so small that the change in x is so small so that, okay, the change in the function value is negligible. So that is the whole idea behind this area under the curve. Okay, area under the curve. Okay, now when you are saying integration, okay, integration from a to b means, so this is a, now say this point is a, now somewhere here is b. Now the same thing will do, right? So integration, you just have to consider it as summation considering the width of the strips to be dx. Okay, integration is simply summation at the very minute level. Okay, so all these strips which are having thickness as dx now, so we are adding them, then summation turns out to be integration. Fine. So I wish I could take few examples here, but you people don't want me to take beyond 20 minutes. Anyway, it's 30 minutes now. I'll take one example in the next class, so you will get to understand more clearly. Fine. All right, please note down, make running notes.